Even seemingly insignificant moments in life can have a profound impact on someone's life. An act of compassion or unconditional assistance produces a miracle. The tale of today will cause you to reconsider what kindness really means. Prepare yourself for an emotional journey where seemingly straightforward decisions can have unanticipated consequences that permanently alter lives. A young woman with a lot of willpower, Mary had experienced numerous setbacks before making an unexpected choice that resulted in a fortunate encounter with a homeless man. But have you ever pondered what would happen if you helped someone? What if a tiny act of kindness turned out to be the most significant turning point of Mary's life? A single act of kindness has the power to alter the world. Therefore, don't miss this story. Thank you for supporting the channel. You can expect more engrossing tales at the Untold Arc. She was just a college student trying to support her family by juggling her studies and part-time job. One afternoon after a long, exhausting day at school, Mary was exhausted and tried to save some money to treat herself to a small meal at the restaurant where she worked. After spending too much on bills and tuition, a warm meal seemed like a luxury she could hardly afford, and the restaurant was as busy as usual. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for the latest videos wishing you happiness and peace with couples, families, and business people having dinners. Mary discovered a quiet corner in the hopes of finding some peace before her shift started. But as she sat down and quickly perused the menu, the door opened and an elderly man entered. He was ill-groomed, with torn clothes, a filthy face, and exhausted eyes. It was obvious he hadn't eaten or had a place to sleep for a long time. He stood in the center of the restaurant looking lost, as though he didn't know where he was. Mary instantly stopped crying and sent her condolences to the man. She turned to see her co-workers ignoring him, even exchanging critical looks, and he was ready to go. But Mary immediately recognized that he needed assistance, so she forced herself to stop eating and went to, when she asked, "Would you like to sit down?" With a warm smile and a gentle hand on his arm, the man looked at her with concern. Startled by the stranger's sudden kindness, he nodded, and Mary led him to an empty table. "Would you like something to eat?" she asked, her eyes full of compassion. The man simply shook his head, his voice weak. His fatigue made Mary's heart constrict, so she immediately motioned to her co-worker Jane to fetch him a hearty supper. Jane gazed at Mary with a suspicious look, but proceeded to get the supper ready. Mary didn't mind because she couldn't help but notice the desperate expression. When the meal was served, the man started to eat every bite as if savoring something he had been without for days. Mary watched him silently, her sips of water slowing down, and she saw him eating hungrily, taking each bite with gratitude as if this was the first good meal. In the man's eyes, even though she didn't have much money to spare, she used her own to pay for his meal. She didn't think about keeping any for herself, only about helping someone who was hungry. He hadn't in a while. Mary never would have thought that such a tiny gesture of compassion would transform her life and lead to, for a brief moment, nobody in the restaurant could forget that she merely wanted to provide food for a man in need. But her assistance revealed a secret that no one could have predicted. As Mary observed the man eating, she could hear her co-workers laughing and whispering, mocking her choice to use her hard-earned money to assist an unknown elderly man whose circumstances no one knew. Jane, a group colleague, approached Mary's table with a sarcastic tone that was obviously dripping with contempt. "Are you some sort of saint?" "Loud enough," Jane said, "for everyone in the vicinity to overhear you wasting your money on an unidentified elderly man who doesn't even be aware that you're assisting him." Mary's face flushed with shame, but she refused to let their jeering disturb her, and as their laughter reverberated in her ears, she continued to concentrate on the man in front of her, who was still gratefully eating. At that moment, the kitchen door opened, and Andrew, the restaurant's owner, A 32-year-old businessman known for his fair but strict management style entered. His presence instantly caught the attention of the entire establishment. Andrew listened to Mary's co-workers' whispers while squinting at the elderly man who was eating. Sarah gave a brief explanation of the circumstances. Mary had purchased meals for the visitor with her own funds. Andrew gazed at Mary for a long time. He moved toward the table, glanced at the man eating, and then sighed as the man finished his lunch and wiped his mouth. Just before turning to face the man, his expression turned to one of surprise and amazement. Unable to believe his sight, Andrew halted and muttered, "Dad, is that you?" His voice quivered. In a profoundly emotional moment, Patrick got up and walked toward Andrew. Before anyone could comprehend what was happening, they embraced the entire restaurant and fell in love. Patrick's eyes brightened as he recognized the guy in front of him. Unaware of what was happening, the silent people exchanged confused looks till Mary remained astonished and sat there, like everyone else discovered that the man she had been helping wasn't homeless at all. Andrew's father, Patrick, had been living on the streets during those long, dark days, surviving with the assistance of strangers until one day when luck struck. Andrew had been looking for him for a long time, even reporting him missing, but there had been no signs that he was still alive. Now, the man Mary had fed was Andrew's father, the man who had mysteriously vanished, Andrew's father. Ultimately, grinned at him, he discovered the restaurant where Mary worked, and that's where their lives would be forever changed. As Andrew and Patrick embraced in a heartbreaking moment, everyone in the restaurant was overcome with emotion. Mary sat there, feeling the deep gratitude in Andrew's eyes, and she never thought that such a small act of kindness could result in a miracle like this. Andrew looked at Mary and realized that he owed her a debt that words could not fully express, and without her assistance his father might still be lost and wandering the streets unnoticed. "Thank you so much," Andrew responded, his voice choking with emotion. "Your eyes said it all. Something that I will never be able to pay back. Without you, my father could still be gone." Mary stared at him, still in disbelief over what had just transpired. Andrew invited her to his office, where they sat down and he asked her about her background. She started talking about the hardships she had faced in her modest upbringing, the job she had taken to pay for college, and the medical bills for her mother, which occasionally felt like they were crushing her. Andrew paid close attention, and as Mary told her tale, he was deeply touched by her fortitude and tenacity. After hearing her story, Mary's words served as a reminder of tenacity, bravery, and commitment. Andrew gave Mary a resolute look as he took a bundle of cash out of his pocket and put it in her hand. "This is for you," he stated earnestly, "to help your family. I hope it can help you get through this difficult time." Mary was speechless as she gazed at the cash in her palm, tears streaming down her cheeks as she realized that her long hours of toiling to earn a living had finally paid off with such a thoughtful gesture. And unanticipated kindness. She coughed out a heartfelt thank you to Andrew, unable to express anything more expression of thankfulness at that precise moment. When Mary returned home that evening, her heart bursting with feelings she couldn't quite put into words, she still couldn't believe the generosity and kindness she had just received from Andrew. When she entered her room, everything seemed uninteresting compared to the moment that changed her life. The following morning, when Mary returned to the restaurant, Andrew was waiting for her and offered her a full-time job caring for his father, which not only paid twice as much as she did as a waitress, but it also allowed her to continue her studies while providing for her family. Mary was unable to pass up the opportunity and gratefully took it. Mary felt as though a weight had been removed from her shoulders, and she was confident that with Mary's careful and understanding care, the difficult weeks ahead would be far easier to endure. Gradually, Patrick's health improved. He began to regain his strength, eat healthier, and live comfortably in the room Mary had made for him. As time passed, Andrew, who had been closely observing his father's recuperation, couldn't help but notice the miraculous change. He admired Lena's perseverance, compassion, and dedication. She wasn't merely a caregiver. She was the one who gave his father hope again. He came to see that what had initially inspired his admiration had evolved into intense emotions he hadn't. He was drawn to Mary's strength, love, and gentleness, which he couldn't find in anybody else, and he felt a deeper bond each time he witnessed her taking care of his father. Andrew started to realize that he loved Mary, and that his feelings for her had transcended ordinary adoration. Although Mary couldn't deny her admiration for him, she eventually realized that she had unique feelings for him. His kindness, sincerity, and concern for his father and for her had moved her, and she started to understand that despite the difficulties in her life, someone like Andrew was a strong reminder that there were still positive things in the world, and a relationship had developed between them, constructed on love, sharing, and empathy. The week Mary spent taking care of Patrick was a significant time in her life, not only because she had gotten a new job, but also because of the sweet affection and change it brought to her and Andrew. One evening, after a demanding workday, Andrew asked Mary and Patrick to dinner at a classy restaurant as a token of appreciation for everything she had done. Mary accepted the invitation despite being taken aback because she saw it as a unique chance to unwind as they ate and sat together. Patrick had a wonderful when discussing his background. He talked about the challenging times he faced while battling Alzheimer's and losing communication with his relatives. Both Mary and Andrew were moved by this narrative. Mary understood that Patrick had been able to overcome those obstacles because of Andrew's affection and concern. Mary felt an even stronger bond with Andrew at that point, and knew she wanted to be by his side through all of life's highs and lows. Her commitment to and love for her family profoundly affected her, and her relationship with Andrew developed organically and genuinely. Before long, their love blossomed brightly as summer drew near, and Andrew and Mary started exploring. They went to a lovely beach where Mary could unwind to discuss how they could create a future together, and share joyful memories with Andrew. During the trip, they not only relished quiet times, but also discovered more about one another's aspirations and goals. Their time together helped them realize that, despite their disparate upbringings, they were inseparable. Their love and understanding grew deeper, and they knew they were prepared to set out on a new journey together a year later, under sparkling lights with the support of friends and family. The moments of ecstatic laughter and smiles that Mary and Andrew had during their heartfelt private wedding ceremony were formally marked by the joining of two souls following the wedding. Andrew became more than just a loyal husband, but as a dependable member of Mary's family, he made sure her siblings had access to the greatest education possible, creating fresh prospects for their future, and he assisted her mother in landing a steady, well-paying work. Additionally, Andrew rented a lovely, roomy, and well-equipped apartment for Mary's family, providing them with stability and comfort they had never experienced before. Mary's life, which had previously been one of hardships and instability, had now transformed into a secure, loving, and joyful place, where her unwavering efforts and sacrifices had paid off. And she knew it all began with a single act of kindness that had transformed not only her life, but also the lives of those around her. In addition to being a fantastic husband, Andrew's genuineness and generosity changed her whole family. When Mary helped a homeless man, a stranger, she not only changed her own life, but also created new opportunities for everyone she loved. Her story is a powerful reminder of the ripple effect that an act of kindness can have. It is a testament to the idea that even small acts of kindness can have a profound impact and change lives in unexpected ways, so never undervalue a small act of kindness. Mary has demonstrated to us that helping those in need has the potential to change the world, and we would want to hear your story. good deeds and constructive transformations. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below, and remember to subscribe for more motivational content. Narratives, we sincerely appreciate your continuing support of the channel, and while there may have been a few minor errors throughout the content development process, we sincerely hope you will overlook them. I hope everyone has a happy, peaceful, and healthy life. Stay tuned for more.